Hello, every pony. Scar89 here once again. After a very long-ish kind of break, sort of, just a couple days or something, I've been lazy. But today I am going to continue reading My Little Caboose Blues Magic because I really need to get going on reading more of that because it's very long and it's ever growing. So, without further ado, Chapter 21 of Milo Caboose Blue is Magic. Chapter 21 Stairs. Rainbow Dash brought Tucker close to the ground and dropped him off. Tucker barely managed to land on his feet. Easy there, Dash. Your wings better heal quick because I don't like the idea of always having to carry you. I'm sure your opinion on that will change later, Tucker said, laughing. In your dreams, Rainbow Dash said. Come on, let's go try and find the others. You make me feel as if you don't want to be alone with me, Tucker said. But I know you do. Nobody can resist Dr. Love for long. Have your balls healed yet? Rainbow Dash asked, bending over and started putting a fake seductive demeanor. Yeah, they totally work now, Tucker said, excitedly waking up behind her. Good. Rainbow Dash then kicked Tucker in the balls and started to walk away. Oh, fuck berries, Tucker groaned. My fuck berries. I warned you not to say anything. Now let's go before you dig yourself into an even deeper hole. I don't think I can walk, Tucker said. Can you carry me? No, Rainbow Dash said, still walking. Oh, well, you can't blame a guy for trying, Tucker said. Tucker then stood up, holding his manhood and started limping after Rainbow Dash. It took them several minutes to get to the market, mostly due to the fact that Tucker kept falling to the ground moaning. But when they got there, they spotted Applejack among the crowd. Hey, there's some of them now, Rainbow Dash said. Fantastic, Tucker moaned. Hey, there's Rainbow Dash, Pinkie exclaimed. Rainbow Dash, we're over here. Hey, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash said, walking up to them. What are you guys doing? What's wrong with Tucker? Caboose asked. Rainbow Dash turned and looked at Tucker, raising her eyebrows. I fell down some stairs, Tucker said quietly. I hate when that happens, Caboose said. I was thinking about getting one of those magic chairs that move up and down the sides of the steps. No, I think I've done enough falling for now, Tucker said. Glad to hear it, Rainbow Dash said. Sarge looked at Tucker and started laughing. What's so funny? Tucker said. You didn't fall downstairs, did you, Tucker? Sarge said, still laughing. Tucker didn't answer. He just glared at Rainbow Dash, which made Sarge laugh even harder. I think I'm gonna like her already. I think I'm liking her already, Sarge said, wiping a tear out of his eye. What do you know? Fuck you, Sarge, Tucker grunted. I'm willing to bet that was an ironic choice of words there, Blue, Sarge said with a smirk. Calm down, you two, Applejack said, walking between Sarge and Tucker, expecting a fight. Don't worry, I'm calm, Sarge assured her, and I'm willing to bet that Tucker doesn't have much fight left in him at the moment. He got that right, Tucker said. What are you two Applejack started to ask. Sarge just smiled and motioned his head to Tucker. Applejack looked at Tucker, who was cradling his crotch. Then she looked at Rainbow Dash, who was glaring at Tucker. Applejack started to laugh. Why are you laughing? Pinkie Pie asked. You don't want to know, Sarge said. Come on, y'all. Let's go find the others, Applejack said. Okay, Caboose said. Let's go check on Griff. I need to make sure I didn't hurt him, Sarge said. Too much. All right, Fluttershy's place it is, Pinkie Pie said, starting toward the cottage. It took just a couple minutes to make it there. Tucker started to feel a little better along the way and stopped groping himself. Applejack knocked on the door and Fluttershy answered. Hello, Applejack, Fluttershy said, letting her in. Oh, you bought everyone else? Pinky, Caboose, Sarge, and Big Mac walked into the room. Everyone else? Rainbow Dash asked. Well, Twilight and Rarity are here with Church and Simmons. Sarge looked over at Griff, and Griff glared back at Sarge. Nice to see you too, soldier, Sarge chirped happily. Feeling better? Not particularly, Griff muttered, then looked around. This room is fucking crowded. He has a point, Rainbow Dash said. How about the guys staying here and we go outside for a little privacy? I need to talk to you girls anyway. Oh, all right, Twilight said. The ponies then left the room, leaving Big Mac and the other stallions in the room. Who's the big guy? Church asked. This is Big Mac, Sarge said. He works on the farm with Applejack. He is tall and red, Caboose said. Yes, Caboose, we can see that, Church muttered. Tucker stood there awkwardly, trying to get in a comfortable position. What's wrong with Tucker? Simmons asked. I don't want to talk about it, Tucker muttered. Rainbow Dash kicked him in the balls, Sarge said, barely containing his laughter. The others looked over at Tucker, who then gave an ashamed nod. They all started laughing, all of them but Tucker. I hate you guys, Tucker said. Oh, this is Griff talking, okay. What the fuck did you do to her? Griff asked, now sitting up on the couch. I sort of, maybe, walked in on her in the shower, Tucker said. Was she naked? Caboose asked. They're always naked, you fucking idiot, Tucker responded. Oh my gosh, you're right, Caboose gasped. Hey Tucker, you said I would never see a girl naked. Caboose, be quiet, Church commanded. Okay. Why did you go in the room? Simmons asked. Because if you didn't know she was in there, then that's not that bad. I knew she was in there, Tucker said. You're a fucking pervert, Church said. No, dude, I knew she was in there, but I had left the room when she started, so when I came back to the room, I didn't hear anything, Tucker said. I thought she was done. So you thought that the best idea was to barge in? Church asked. I don't know, Tucker said. I wasn't thinking. You have to believe me. Don't worry, Tucker. We know that you don't think, Griff said, laughing. Thank you, Tucker said, then glared at Griff. Screw you, Griff. Chapter 22. Tag. Rainbow Dash led the girls far from Fluttershy's home, stopping by a tree. Why did you bring us all the way out here, Rainbow Dash? Twilight asked. We could have just as well talked in a different room of Fluttershy's home, Rarity said. I brought you here so the others wouldn't hear me, Rainbow Dash said. What's wrong? Fluttershy asked. Rainbow Dash looked at the ground and let out a sigh. Tucker came into my bathroom when I was coming out of the shower, Rainbow Dash said, avoiding eye contact. Each of the girls gave a slight gasp. Is that why he was holding his, area? Rarity asked. Yes, well, no, Rainbow Dash said. That wasn't until later. What happened then? Fluttershy asked. When he opened the door, I instinctively kicked him in the face, Rainbow Dash said. And then what did you do next? Twilight asked. Then I closed the door and dried up, Rainbow Dash said. That's it, Applejack said. Even I would have done more than that. What is that supposed to mean? Rainbow Dash asked bluntly. Well, you aren't exactly the most docile of ponies, Dash, Rarity said. Rainbow Dash was about to retort that statement. Then she sighed and stared at the ground, contemplating what to say. After a couple of minutes of silence, one of them spoke up. You like him, don't you, Dashy? Pinky asked. What? Rainbow Dash said quickly. No way! It's okay to like him, Rainbow Dash, Twilight said, smiling. He seems like a fun stallion. I do not like him. He is arrogant, and he seems to think that everyone will like him if they meet. He can't take no for an answer, and he is just so... Rainbow Dash said. So much like you? Rainbow Dash said. Yes! No! I mean, he's pretty cute, but... Rainbow Dash started. But after he said that, she brought her hooves to her mouth and her eyes opened wide and the girls stared at her. You think he's cute? Applejack said, smiling. Please don't tell Tucker I said that, Rainbow Dash said quietly. Why? Are you ashamed? Twilight asked. No, I'm not ashamed, Rainbow Dash said, letting out a sly smile. I don't want you to tell him because he called it and I have a feeling I would never hear the end of it. All the girls started to laugh. Besides, I need to make sure that he likes me too before I say anything, Rainbow Dash said. That sounds reasonable, I guess, Twilight said. Do you promise not to tell Tucker? Rainbow Dash asked. All the girls replied with a quick nod. Thank you, Rainbow Dash said, now laughing. Let's get back there and make sure they haven't done too much damage. The girls then made their way back to Fluttershy's home and opened the door to find all the stallions, including Big Mac, on the floor laughing, all of them except for Tucker, who was standing still, glaring at them, but with a smile. What's going on in here? Applejack asked. If you guys say anything, I will kill you all, Tucker muttered. Say anything about what? Twilight said, smiling as she already knew the answer to the question. Tucker nodded her expression inside, assuming that Rainbow Dash told the others. You're an undeniable bitch, you know that? Tucker asked. You know it, Rainbow Dash said, smirking. Tucker smiled and shook his head. So, Sarge, I see you got your cutie mark, Twilight noted. Yeah, but, can we call it something more manly? Sarge said uncomfortably. Cutie mark doesn't sound right to me. It reminds me too much of donut. How about we just call it your mark? Applejack said. Speaking of that, what did you even do to get it? Rarity asked. I kicked a stallion in the stomach, Sarge said smugly. Why am I not even surprised? Church asked. Hey, he had it coming, Sarge grunted. He disrespected Applejack and Big Mac. I wasn't about to go and let some weakling walk away after he insulted them. Some stallion? Do you mean Griff? Simmons asked. No, I kicked Griff after when I saw him at the market, Sarge said. Simmons and Church looked over at Griff. You actually went to the market? Church asked. That's not important. You actually helped someone do something? Simmons asked. Griff just smiled lazily and shrugged. Would I say that you're an asshat, but that opposite seems to be the case here? Oh, I would say that you... Okay. Sorry there. I prefer Butthead, Caboose said. We know, Caboose. If you guys don't mind, I kind of want to sleep, Griff said, rolling on his side. I've been up for way too long. Now that he mentions it, it is getting rather late, Rarity says. I agree, Applejack said. We need to wake up bright and early to finish bucking the last of the apple trees. I guess we'll be on our way then, Twilight said, walking towards the door. Goodbye, every pony. All the ponies then left Fluttershy's home, each making their way back to their respective places of residence. You're not going to kick me in the nuts again, are you? Tucker asked. Not unless you give me a reason to, Rainbow Dash said. Do you think you can fly now? Tucker looked back at his wings and started flapping them slowly. They seem to be good now, Tucker said. Good, Rainbow Dash said, hitting Tucker on his flank. You're it! Tucker stared at her... Tucker started at her... Tucker stared at her as she zoomed away for several seconds, until he processed what just happened. No fair! Tucker yelled. I wasn't ready. That's too bad, Rainbow Dash yelled back. I was under the impression that you were a stallion, not a mouse. I'll show you who's a mouse, Tucker said, snapping forward after Rainbow Dash. Tucker then caught up with Rainbow Dash and hit her flank. Who's the mouse now? Tucker yelled. Tucker looked back at Rainbow Dash, who was about to touch him. Then he stopped. Rainbow Dash tackled him to the ground. Why did you stop? Rainbow Dash asked. Tucker did not say anything. Instead, he kissed her on the lips. Chapter 23. Dreams. Rainbow Dash and Tucker lay on the ground for a couple of seconds in their embrace. But then Rainbow Dash pulled back her head and smiled. A little forward, aren't you, Tucker? Rainbow Dash asked, raising her eyebrows but keeping her smile. Yeah, you already decimated my dick, so I figured I didn't have much more to lose, Tucker replied, laughing slightly. What are we going to do now? They both then sat up and looked at the stars. It really is a nice night, Rainbow Dash said. Be ashamed to sleep it away. Tucker looked at her. Tucker looked at her and started grinning. That's not what I meant, Rainbow Dash laughed. I mean, do you want me to show you around Cloudsdale? Your wings seem to be working now, so I can show you the cool sights. Sure, sounds good, Tucker said, getting off the ground. I think I know a place that you will like, Rainbow Dash said, flying towards Cloudsdale. All right, lead the way, Tucker said, flying after her. Rainbow Dash led Tucker all the way to Cloudsdale and stopped by a large circular building. What is this thing? Tucker asked. This is where Pegasi learned how to fly, and they also do aerial shows every so often, Rainbow Dash said, gazing at it wistfully. And it is also where the Wonderbolts perform. Who are the Wonderbolts? Tucker asked. They're the best flyer in all of Cloudsdale. No, all of Equestria, Rainbow Dash said. It has been my dream to join them one day. Cool. Is that them? Tucker said, pointing at a poster. Rainbow Dash trotted to the poster and started looking it over. Once she got to the bottom, her eyes opened wide as she started smiling. Oh my gosh, 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 oh my gosh! Rainbow said excitedly. What? Tucker said. The Wonderbolts are performing in the next few days. We totally need to go see them. Rainbow Dash squealed. I don't have any money to pay for a ticket, do you? Tucker asked. Rainbow Dash looked at Tucker and frowned slightly. I don't think so, Rainbow Dash said sadly. Well, Tucker said, looking at the poster, we have almost a week to get some cash. Yeah, that's true, Rainbow Dash said, tapping her chin. It doesn't cost too much, so we might be able to manage it. Cool, Tucker said, grinning. They sound awesome. They are, Rainbow Dash said, now flying back home. We'll figure out how to get some work tomorrow, but for now, I'm feeling tired. Back down in Ponyville, the others arrived in their residence and went to sleep for the rest of the night. All except Church, who sat outside the Twilight's place, gazing at the stars. I think that should be saying who sat outside Twilight's place. Twilight was asleep, but Spike found himself restless, so he decided to go downstairs and grab a bite to eat. When he got to the bottom, he noticed the door was ajar and that Church was sitting on the grass. What are you thinking about? Spike asked, stepping outside, forgetting about food. Everything that's been happening, Church said. What do you mean by that? Spike asked. I'm not sure. Everything just seems to be moving way too fast, Church said. Like how we're all adapting to the situation, and how we seem to be fitting in too well with everything. Look at Caboose and Pinky, for example. They have the exact same personality. And look at Tucker. He managed to learn in one night. What? It unnerves me. I don't know what Tucker learned unless it was flying. Anyway. Maybe it was a hidden talent, Spike suggested. The only talent Tucker has is one for trouble, Church chuckled. Sounds like you are just making excuses, Spike said. Excuses for what? Maybe you're starting to like it here, and you're just trying to find a reason not to. Church looked at the stars and smiled. I am starting to like it here. Why would I look for a reason to not like it? Church asked. Maybe you guys just didn't fit in from where you came from, and you are simply not used to fitting in now, Spike said. Maybe you're looking for a reason to go back. Maybe you're right, Church said, and he yawned. I think I'm going to go to bed. All right, I'm going to grab something to eat, Spike said. Night, Church. Night, Spike, Church said, walking up the stairs to the spare room. Church crawled into his bed and promptly fell into a deep sleep. The next morning, Sarge was awoken early by Applejack over at Sweet Apple Acres. "Rise and shine, Sarge," Applejack said, tapping on Sarge's shoulder. "If we hurry, we can finish bucking all the apples today." "Sounds good," Sarge said, yawning heavily and stretching. Applejack smiled and left the barn. Sarge got up and followed soon after. By the time he'd gotten outside, Big Mac had already started to work. Instead of exchanging pleasantries, the group just went straight to work. It took them just a couple of hours to finish what was left of the apple trees. "Listen, Sarge," Applejack said, wiping sweat off her brow. "I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I really appreciate you helping us out. We made you a little thank you gift. It's inside the house." "You shouldn't have," Sarge said. "Is it a shotgun?" "What in tarnation is a shotgun?" Applejack asked. "The most beautiful discovery since hurting Griff," Sarge said, pretending to wipe a tear from his eye. It's not a shotgun," Applejack said, laughing slightly. "It is something much better than that." "Better than a shotgun?" Sarge said. "I find that hard to believe." "Come on, it'll be easier if we just show you what it is," Applejack said, opening the door to the home. "Better than a shotgun," Sarge muttered. "That'll be the day." Applejack made her way to a table where Granny Smith and Apple Bloom were sitting. There was a small box that sat on the table, and Applejack grabbed it. She then walked up to Sarge and held it up to him. "We know it isn't much, but we still hope you like it," Applejack said, rubbing the back of her neck. Sarge grabbed the box and opened it slowly and saw a dark brown Stetson hat. "You got me a hat?" Sarge asked. We don't have much, so it was hard to find a proper way to repay you," Applejack said. "We just wanted to tell you that we really do appreciate you being here, Sarge, and we consider you to be part of the Apple family now." Sarge gazed at the hat and grabbed it. He put it on and looked back at Applejack. "Do you like it?" Applejack asked. Yeah, I do," Sarge said happily. Chapter 24. Lessons. Rarity woke up to her doorbell ringing. She made her way down the stairs and slowly opened the door to find a gray Pegasus holding a brown bag. Morning, Rarity," Derpy said. "Good morning, Derpy," Rarity yawned. "I have some mail for you," Derpy said. Rarity smiled at the clumsy Pegasus, who reached in her bag and pulled out a pile of letters and envelopes. Derpy handed all of them to Rarity and smiled. "Have a good day, Rarity," Derpy said, slowly walking backwards. "You too, Derpy," Rarity said, smiling back. Rarity then closed the door and started looking through all the mail, the majority of it belonging to some pony else. She sighed as she knows she will have to find who they belong to. Simmons then got up and yawned. "Who was that?" Simmons asked. "That was the mermail. Apparently I have mail," Rarity said. Simmons raised an eyebrow and saw Rarity holding nearly 100 envelopes. "I would have never guessed," Simmons said. "They're not all mine," Rarity said, putting them on a table. "In fact, there is a chance that none of them belong to me." "What a reliable mail service this place has," Simmons said sarcastically. "Well, Derpy may not be the most reliable pony, but her heart is in the right place," Rarity said. "Her name is Derpy?" Simmons laughed. "You're kidding, right?" "No, why?" Rarity said curiously. "Well, it's just that back where me and the others are from, Derpy is Simmons started, but then cleared his throat. "Never mind, it doesn't matter. Need any help?" It would be much appreciated," Rarity said, pushing half the mail over to Simmons. Simmons started shuffling through all the letters, all of which belonged to somebody else. He kept going, and once he had got to the last letter, he stalled. "Who is Fancy Pants?" Simmons asked. "Fancy Pants, the most important pony in Canterlot," Rarity gasped, snatching the letter away from Simmons. "Let me see that." Rarity opened it and scanned it quickly, then looked up at Simmons with a huge grin plastered on her face. "This is amazing news," Rarity said. "What is it?" Simmons asked. Fancy Pants is sending over one of his friends to get a suit made in a few days, Rarity said. Apparently he has a rather unique build, so I have to fit him. He said he remembers my work from a party I attended a while back, and figured I would be the best candidate for making him a fantastic suit. That's pretty cool, I guess, Simmons said. Do you think you could help me? Rarity asked. How could I help? Simmons said. I'm not exactly the best choice of partners for making clothes. Well, I know of other ways you could help, Rarity said. And what would that be? Simmons asked, raising his brow. I could show you how to use the spell that would hold him in place while I get his measurements, Rarity said. Do you think I could really learn how to do it? Simmons said. I don't know how to use magic. You and I both know that is not true. Remember how you broke my spell when you saw that I was getting overworked? Rarity said. I was surprised that you managed to do so, and it shows that you have an adapt for magic. Aptitude, not apt. Aptitude for magic. Hey, yeah, Simmons said happily. Okay, sure. Show me how to do it. Let's go upstairs, Rarity said, standing up. We will need complete concentration, and we don't want you to get interrupted. Simmons nodded and followed Rarity up to her room. Okay, Rarity said, standing straight up. To begin, you must clear your mind of everything. But I know so much, Simmons said, semi-sarcastically. Rarity looked at him and smiled sweetly. Okay, clear my mind. What comes next? Simmons asked. Now imagine yourself grabbing me and holding me down. Oh, Tucker needs to be there right now at the moment. Just tell it. Rarity said. Anyway, Simmons raised his brow for a second, but shook it off and started concentrating. All right, Simmons said. Then what? The next step is to use the mental image and, I guess, project it through your horn, Rarity said. It is kind of hard to explain since it is an ability unicorns are born with. Here, let me... Rarity tried to take a step towards Simmons, but found herself unable to move. She then looked at Simmons and started to smile. Simmons shook his head, breaking concentration. Holy shit, it worked, Simmons said, a shocked expression spreading across his face. I did it! You're a fast learner. You're a great teacher. You're far too kind, Rarity giggled. Are you feeling hungry? Sort of, Simmons said. How about we make our way to a cafe and grab something to eat? Rarity said. My treat? Sounds good to me, Simmons said with a smile. Rarity and Simmons made their way out of the boutique and soon found themselves in front of a cafe. Rarity told the server to get a table for two, and he led them to a small table inside. The server gave them menus and made his way to the kitchen. Simmons looked at the menu with an inquisitive eye. Not much of a selection, Simmons said. Just a couple of sandwiches and the like. Yes, but what they lack in quantity, they make up for in quality, Rarity said. The server made his way back to their table with 2 glasses of water and stood at attention. What can I get you folks? The server asked cheerfully. I will just have a daisy sandwich, Rarity said, handing the menu over to the server. I'll have one as well, Simmons said, doing the same. The server nodded and trotted over to the kitchen and swiftly brought the 2 sandwiches and brought them over to the table. Simmons thanked him and took a bite out of it. You were right. This is delicious, Simmons said. I know I was right, Rarity said, winking playfully at Simmons. So tell me more about yourself. I'm not that interesting, Simmons said without a hint of humor. Even so, I would like to get to know you more, Rarity said. All right then, Simmons said, quickly finishing off the sandwich. He spent the next hour telling Rarity about himself, and after he was finished, Rarity did the same. After they finished, Rarity paid the bill, and the pair walked out of the restaurant, both clearly enjoying themselves. Chapter 25 Everfree. Griff was awakened by Fluttershy, who was tapping on his shoulder lightly. He grunted and rolled off the couch slowly. Haley jumped down after him, and they both stretched. After a couple seconds of Fluttershy staring awkwardly at Griff, he spoke up. Any reason you woke me up so early? It's not early. It's 1 in the afternoon, Fluttershy said quietly. What? Griff said with a chuckle. That's earlier than I thought it was. Fluttershy looked at Griff and smiled, and he let out a small sigh. All right, I'll bite, Griff grunted. What's up? Pinkie Pie wanted me to stop by her place, Fluttershy said. So I was wondering if you'd be able to, look after some bunnies? Griff stared at her silently. Is it a lot of work? Griff asked simply. Oh, it's not at all, Fluttershy said happily. You just have to sit under a tree and make sure they don't run off. I guess I could do that, Griff said. Fluttershy walked out the door to her yard, and Griff followed her obediently. He looked out at the half-dozen bunnies, running around and playing. He then saw two trees side by side, and he sat down with his back on one of them. There really aren't that many of them, so they shouldn't give you any trouble at all, Fluttershy said. So there really is nothing else to it? Griff asked after sitting for a couple seconds. As long as you keep your eye on them, then it's the easiest thing in the world, Fluttershy said. Okay, cool. Fluttershy gave Griff a quick hug. Thank you, Fluttershy said, turning away. I'll be back soon. No problem, Griff said, letting out a slight yawn. As Fluttershy left the area, Griff gazed lazily at the 6 bunnies as Haley curled up next to him. He watched them for a couple minutes before his eyes felt heavy. He let them shut, intending to rest his eyes for a couple minutes, but when he opened them he felt a lot more awake. He looked at the sun, which was further down than he remembered. His eyes then snapped open and looked around. Fuck! Griff yelled. Where the hell did they go? Griff jumped up and ran around the yard until he saw a couple of bunnies sleeping behind the tree where he was sleeping. Griff let out a weary smile and went to check on the animals. He sighed as he had counted that all 5 of the bunnies were there. Then he realized that there used to be 6. I'll have to go find it, don't I? Griff asked Haley. Haley started wagging her tail and barked. Hey, you're a dog, right? Think you could sniff it out? Griff asked. Haley barked and started to sniff the air. She then started walking away from the house. Griff groaned, gathered the bunnies into Fluttershy's home so they would not run away as well. When they were all inside, he made his way to Haley, who was now sniffing the ground and slowly walking ahead. I'm starting to really hate this place, Griff muttered. Haley's ears then perked up and he started to run. Griff started to run with her, and they soon found their way at the entrance of a large forest. You mean it went in there? Griff asked. Fuck that shit. Griff turned around and started to make his way back to his spot. He then stopped inside, assuming Fluttershy would be devastated if one of them was gone. Son of a bitch. At least I can hope that it didn't go too far, Griff muttered. But I just know that the world hates me too much to let that be the case. Griff walked forward with Haley, who was still on the bunny's trail. Griff then saw something jump into a bush that was in front of him. He smiled and started to walk over to it, but fell flat on his chest as a searing pain shot across his back. Fuck, my back! Griff groaned. Griff got up and looked around. He couldn't see anything, but he had a feeling something was watching him. He slowly made his way over so he could look in the bush. There was a snap behind him and he spun around quickly. He focused on the spot where he had heard the sound come from. It was hard to make out what it was, but his eyes quickly adjusted and he noticed that it was a wolf. But there was something off about it. It then walked into a spot of sunlight and Griff was able to identify what made it look unnatural. Why the fuck is that thing made out of wood? Griff said shakily to himself. The bunny then jumped out and started hopping away. The wolf then lost all focus on Griff and started to chase after it. Haley then barked and started to run after the wolf, tail wagging. Griff grudgingly chased after Haley. Why the fuck am I doing this? Griff muttered, not turning back. Griff made his way through the trees and soon found Haley standing next to a tree, head lowered. He walked up next to her and looked at where she was looking. The bunny foot was stuck in the ground and it was surrounded by some wolves? Or I think that's supposed to be surrounded by some wolves. Griff looked at the ground. So either I turn back and go to sleep, or I go in and probably die, Griff thought to himself. Decisions. One of the wolves then took a step toward the bunny, but soon found itself launched to the ground by Griff. This was a bad idea, Griff said to himself. Griff ran to the bunny and took it out of the ground and tossed it over the wolves into a bush. Instead of giving chase again, the wolves looked over at Griff, hunger in their eyes. The largest wolf then howled and started to close in on Griff. This was a horrible fucking idea, Griff yelled. Chapter 26. Strange Behaviors. Fluttershy walked up to Sugarcube Corner and rang the doorbell. She stood silently for several seconds until Caboose opened the door to greet her. "Oh, hello, Caboose," Fluttershy said. "Hello," Caboose chirped happily. "Is Pinky here?" Fluttershy asked sweetly. "Yes," Caboose replied simply. Caboose then closed the door. Fluttershy stared at the door for a couple seconds before she realized her mistake and rang the doorbell again. "Hello again," Caboose said happily. "Hi, Pinky told me to stop by. Can you go tell her I'm here?" Fluttershy asked. "Okay," Caboose said. Fluttershy then walked into the bakery and Caboose sprinted off to the kitchen and told Pinky that Fluttershy was here. "Fluttershy, isn't this a surprise?" Pinky said, walking out of the kitchen. "You asked me to come," Fluttershy said quietly. "Oh, yeah," Pinky said, placing her hoof on her face. "Silly me! Follow me upstairs. I need your help with the babies." Caboose's ears pricked up and his pupils slowly started to dilate. "Caboose, do you want to come meet the babies?" Pinky asked. Caboose stared at her and his eyes were nearly completely blank. "No," Caboose said, voice deep and raspy. I'm quite fine here, thank you." Fluttershy stared at Caboose and felt a wave of unease pass through her, and she shuddered. Pinky eyed Caboose curiously. "Okay, then," Pinky said slowly, making her way to the stairs. "What happened to Caboose?" Fluttershy asked, voice shaking. "He seems strange back there." "Oh, don't worry about him. He's just playing a game," Pinky said happily, then tightened her smile. "I think." Fluttershy looked down the stairs at Caboose, who was staring out the window, his fur seemingly darkening. "Are you all right?" Fluttershy asked. Caboose then shook his head and his eyes and fur went back to normal. "No, I'm Caboose," Caboose said with a smile, voice back to normal pitch. Fluttershy smiled to Caboose, then made her way to the room where Pound Cake and Pumpkin Cake were asleep. "What do you need my help with?" Fluttershy asked, smiling at the sleeping foals. "They seem to be okay to me." "Oh, I know," Pinky said. "It's just that their first birthday is coming up soon, so I wanted you to help me plan the party." "I would be happy to help," Fluttershy said. "What do you need me to do?" "I want you to bring some animals so there could be a small petting zoo for them to play in," Pinky said. "That sounds nice," Fluttershy said with a smile. "I'll try my best." That's all I could hope for," Pinky said. The two girls then made their way down the stairs, and the door suddenly swung open. Angel had somehow opened the door, sweating profusely. "Angel, what's wrong?" Fluttershy gasped. "Where's Griff?" Angel shook his head and stared out the door, not turning back. Fluttershy instinctively told her to not ask questions, immediately starting to follow Angel. Pinky then shuddered violently. "There's a doozy a-coming," Pinky said, running out of the door. How do you know?" Caboose asked, galloping after Pinky. "My Pinky sense told me so," Pinky said. Angel stopped at the entrance of the Everfree Forest and started pointing inside. Fluttershy stared worriedly inside. "He went in there? Doesn't he know how dangerous it is in there?" Pinky and Caboose then caught up to Fluttershy, not noting the extremely worried expression on her face. "What's wrong?" Pinky asked. "Griff went into the Everfree Forest," Fluttershy replied. We need to get the others," Pinky gasped. "Caboose, you go get Twilight and Church. I'll go get Applejack and Rarity. Fluttershy, you go find Rainbow Dash. Meet back here as soon as you find them." Fluttershy nodded and started flying toward where Rainbow Dash lives. Pinkie Pie started to run toward Sweet Apple Acres. Caboose looked at the forest and then ran off in a random direction, thinking he was going to the library. Alright. Let go, you fucker! Griff yelled, kicking off a timber wolf that was biting on his leg. Screw it, I'm just going to run. And with that, Griff lunged forward to escape the predator. He glanced around at the trees. No discernible path. He kept running in a straight line. He knew that the timber wolves were going to catch up to him, and it was only a matter of time. He then remembered something. I have wings. Why am I running? Griff then focused on his wings and flapped once, shooting through the tree branches in the air and making cuts on his body. Another flap of his wings, and he soared above the tree line. Whoa! This is awesome, Griff exclaimed. I'll never have to walk again. He then straightened his wings and stared straight down. Now how the hell do I go back down? Griff muttered. Griff retracted his wings and started to spiral towards the ground. Not my best day. Not my best day, Griff grunted before slamming his face on the ground. Griff tried to stand up, but fell over in a daze. He looked at his body and saw that his wings had bite marks on them, and there was the occasional chunk missing from his back leg. They got me more than I thought, Griff said, laughing weakly. Ow! My body. He then heard another branch snap and glanced to where the noise was coming from. There was a pony in a robe standing there, watching from the distance. Griff sighed and collapsed on the ground from blood loss. Back at the entrance of the forest, all the ponies were gathered, all staring nervously at the forest. Why did he run there? Applejack asked. Doesn't he know how dangerous it is in there? Griff doesn't know anything, Sarge grunted. Let's go. You really care about Griff, don't you, Sarge? Twilight asked. Who's saying that? Okay, I guess this is Sarge. Okay. As lazy as that son of a bitch is, he is still one of my men. Besides, Griff and I both know what I'm going to be the one that... What? As lazy as that son of a bitch is, he is still one of my men. Besides, Griff and I both know that I'm going to be the one that will be the death of him. We should hurry. It looks like the sun will be setting soon, Simmons remarked. The group nodded in agreement and started to make their way into the forest to find Griff. Chapter 27. Rhyme. The group was slowly following hoof tracks, presumably made by Griff. As they got deeper into the forest, more and more prints started to appear. Are those? Rarity said quietly. I think so, Twilight confirmed. Timber wolves. What the fuck is a timber wolf? Tucker asked. Timberwolves are a subspecies of the canine family. They have the appearance of a wolf, but they are made out of wood. They are generally bigger than other wolves, and their barkish hide makes them more impervious to damage. Suddenly, I don't feel like being in there, Simmons said. A low growl was heard coming from their left. Their eyes snapped to the darkness where there was a pair of yellow eyes watching them. Stay close to each other, Twilight gulped. They won't attack us if our group is larger than theirs. The animal then barked and jumped out of the bushes. It was not a timber wolf, but rather a friendlier canine. Haley! Fluttershy squeaked. What happened? Haley barked and started to follow the hoof tracks, and the group followed quickly. Haley slowed down and whined. What's wrong, girl? Fluttershy asked. Haley looked at Fluttershy sadly, then back at the ground. There were tufts of orange-yellow fur and specks of blood flecking across the ground. The girls gasped, but the guys just stared at the scene indifferently. Quit your worrying, Sarge said, laughing weakly. Griff is a resilient bastard. There's no way he could die by a couple of wild dogs. The girls regained some of their confidence and nodded in unison. The group then followed the tracks until they suddenly disappeared. Sarge stared at the tracks for several seconds, then looked up. Oh no! Rarity gasped. Sarge said nothing but pointed up the trees. There was a gaping hole and the tree branches splintered everywhere. Did he ever try to fly before? Rainbow Dash asked. When he was with me, he seemed content on being on the ground, Fluttershy noted. As much as it pains me to say, Griff is a fast learner when it suits him, Sarge grunted. Come on, we're burning daylight. We don't know where he went, though, Twilight said. How are we supposed to... A cough was heard from behind them, and they quickly turned to see a zebra in a robe staring at the group. Before any of the guys could react, Twilight spoke. Zecora, we need your help. Our friend came into the... You need not tell me of information I already know. I am keeping him safe. Let us go. Twilight nodded, and the group followed her. Wait, what? Twilight nodded, and the group followed her, led and went with Zecora. I think that's what... Oh, followed her lead, and went with Zecora. It only took them a minute to get to Zecora's hut, where she opened the door and motioned them inside. Where's Griff? Simmons asked. He is asleep on my bed, though he is hard of breath, Zecora said somberly. It is hard to tell now, but this may end in either life or death. The mares gasped, but once again the stallions stared indifferently. They found themselves uneasy about how well the guys were taking the news, while Zecora left the room to check on Griff. Does she always speak in rhymes? Tucker asked quietly. Yes, Twilight replied. That won't get annoying, Tucker muttered sarcastically. Zecora then came back out of the room with a smile on her face. How is he, Doc? Caboose asked. Your friend is perfectly all right, though I advise you to stay out, Zecora said. It will only be a matter of time until he can run and shout. Let me go see him, Sarge laughed, walking towards the door. I'll show you that he is perfectly okay. He is just being lazy as usual. No, the young stallion needs his rest, Zecora said. All we can do now is hope for the best. Listen, Zecorin, Sarge started. Zecora, Twilight corrected. Listen, Zecora, Sarge grunted. You don't know Griff. That bastard has survived far more than any man could hope to endure. I've shot him. He's exploded. He has fallen off a damn cliff, and he is still kicking. I'm sure he's fine. Even so, we must let him fresh... Even so, we must let his fresh wounds heal, Zecora said. The pain of a timber wolf bite will be hard for your yellow friend. What? Even so, we must let his fresh wounds mend. The pain of a timber wolf bite will be hard for your yellow friend.
Don't break anything.
Lydia, be quiet. Lydia, you're messing me up. As she said that, the door to the room swung open slowly. How many times do I have to say it? Griff said weakly. I'm fucking orange. Sarge laughed cruelly at the sight of Griff. Good to see you too, Sarge, Griff muttered, coughing up a little blood. The others stared at his body, looking at all the scars and pieces missing out of him. How are you standing? Twilight gasped. Sarge has put me through far worse than this, Griff said with a weak laugh. It will take a lot more than a few wild dogs to keep me down. Told you so, Sarge said smugly. Griff is pretty tough. Sarge punched Griff in the gut and he fell to the ground. Fuck, my kidney, Griff grunted. Man up, Sarge said, smiling wickedly. Griff laughed and gritted his teeth through the pain. Go fuck yourself, Sarge, Griff said with a grating laugh. You two are horrible, Rarity said. How can you two even call yourselves friends? Griff and Sarge stared at Rarity. Then they glanced at each other and burst out laughing. Good one, Rarity, Griff said, wiping a tear from his eyes. Well, will you look at that, Church said. What? Griff said. You got your mark, Church said, trying to hide a laugh. Really? Cool, what is it? Griff asked. Sarge burst out with laughter. That just made my life, Sarge said, rolling hopelessly on the ground. I should have guessed it would be something like that. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? Griff muttered, turning his head to look at his cutie mark and groaned. Really? That's my special skill? This fucking sucks. I say it fits you perfectly, Sarge said smugly. What is it? Twilight asked. I guess you could say it shows how resilient he is, Simonson noted. Back where we're from, that symbol is something we put on crash test dummies, Sarge said with a large grin. Chapter 28. Rest. Griff left the building and sat outside as the others were making fun of him. Fluttershy followed close behind him. There was a clear view of the sunset and Griff felt oddly at ease. Fluttershy sat with him, staying silent as they both watched the sun set. It's so beautiful, Fluttershy said. Yeah, I never really took the time to watch the sun go down from where I was from, Griff said. Now that I think about it, I don't even remember the sun moving. It really makes you feel at peace. Fluttershy raised her brow, then frowned as she looked at Griff's tattered appearance. Does it hurt? Fluttershy asked quietly. It fucking kills, Griff said with a laugh. Then he shrugged. But I've lived through worse. How do you do it? Fluttershy asked. How do I do what? Griff asked in return. Everything, Fluttershy said. You look like you should be in the hospital, but here you are, outside, watching the sunset. Maybe we should go get you checked at the hospital. Stop worrying about me, Griff said. I'll be perfectly fine. I just really need some sleep. My body may appear to say otherwise, but I'm perfectly fine. Fluttershy nodded, then hugged Griff tightly. Griff stared at Fluttershy with a confused expression. What was that for? Griff asked. For going out of your way to save Angel, Fluttershy said. Don't mention it, Griff said, blushing slightly. I really do appreciate it, though. I mean, look at you. You seem to be in a lot more pain than I feel like you are. What? You seem to be in a lot of pain, and I feel like you are trying to hide what you are feeling. The only thing I felt was guilt, Griff admitted with a weak laugh. I fell asleep while watching the animals. If I had stayed awake, then none of this would have. Fluttershy leaned in and kissed him on the cheek. Griff was taken aback and flinched. Fluttershy pulled her head back, and she blushed deeply. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Fluttershy gasped. Don't worry about it. Griff coughed awkwardly. We've all had a long day. Let's go tell the others we're ready to go. Okay, Fluttershy said, her cheeks deepening in color. Griff then got up and limped to the door. Fluttershy got up and took some of his burden by placing his foreleg around her neck. Griff let out a brief smile, then shook it off and opened the door. All right, you guys ready to get moving? Griff asked. All of them nodded and made their way out the door. Once all the others left, Griff looked at Zecora. Listen, Zecora? I just wanted to say thank you. Zecora looked at Griff and nodded before she walked to the next room. Griff then went outside with the others, and they made their way back the way they came. Griff limped at a steady pace, thanks to Fluttershy and Tucker carrying him along. The group saw that they were being watched by the Timberwolves, and Griff couldn't help but feel that they were watching him specifically. Pick up the pace, Griff, Sarge grunted. We're almost there, and I don't like the way they're watching us. Yeah, because being watched by them is so much worse than being attacked by them, Griff grunted, trying to speed up. They finally got out of the forest and they said their goodbyes, leaving Fluttershy and Griff alone. I can't wait to get some more sleep, Griff groaned quietly. Fluttershy smiled and slowly aided Griff to her house with Haley by his side. She opened the door and Griff took his leg away from her and started to limp to the couch. Fluttershy walked slightly faster and blocked him. You go to sleep in my bed. If you want to, that is, Fluttershy said quietly. I'll sleep on the couch. Are you sure? Griff asked hesitantly. Yes, you need a good night's rest, Fluttershy said. Okay, sweet, Griff said, walking into her bedroom. Thanks. Good night, Fluttershy. Good night, Griff, Fluttershy said happily. Griff looked back at Fluttershy, who was climbing on the couch, trying to get comfortable. Griff smiled and then went to close the door behind him, but Angel ran up to Griff and hugged his leg, and he smiled. You're, welcome? Griff asked. Angel looked up at Griff and closed his eyes and then ran to the couch and curled up next to Fluttershy. Griff yawned as Haley ran through the door and jumped on the bed and instantly fell asleep. You've got the right idea, Griff said, jumping onto the bed. It took Griff only a few seconds to fall asleep in the bed, which was currently the comfiest place he could ever dream of sleeping on. Griff woke up to find that Fluttershy was standing next to him with a bowl. Griff groaned as he propped himself up. Ugh! Oh, my back is so damn stiff, Griff muttered sourly. Fluttershy said nothing as she propped a wooden tray over him, then placed the bowl on it. Thanks, Griff said. Fluttershy smiled, and Griff noted that her cheeks were a brilliant shade of crimson. She squeaked when she saw that he'd recognized this, and hurried out of the room, leaving Griff alone with the soup. Griff finished it quickly, finding himself hungrier than he had ever thought he was. After he finished, he got off the bed and caught a glimpse of himself in the mirror. His scars seemed to have been treated, and the more serious wounds were patched up. He groaned and left the room, and Fluttershy was sitting on the couch with Angel. I'm glad to see you are up, Fluttershy said. You were so dead to the world. How long was I asleep? Griff asked. It was about 7 in the evening when we got back, and it is almost noon now. I hope you don't mind, but I went and treated your wounds while you were asleep. I don't mind at all. Thanks for patching me up. Not at all, Fluttershy said with a smile. I like helping ponies just as much as I like helping animals. What a coincidence, Griff said with a laugh. I love being helped. Chapter 29. Pre-Party. Church and Twilight were sitting downstairs, having a light breakfast when they heard a knock on the door. Twilight opened the door to be greeted by a flurry of balloons being launched at her. With the bombardment stopped, she looked up to see Pinky with an abnormally large grin. Twilight! Pinky yelled. Is it the most awesome, malicious, stupendorific thing ever? What are you talking about? Twilight asked. It's the Cake's twins' birthday tomorrow, Pinky said, giddy with anticipation. They're turning 1 year old. Oh, right, Twilight said. Then what are you doing here right now? Shouldn't you wait until tomorrow to have the party? Haven't you heard of a pre-party party? Pinky asked. Twilight rolled her eyes, but smiled. It'll be a small party if it's just you, me, and Church, Twilight said. Don't be silly, Twi. I brought Caboose, Pinky said. Hello, Caboose said, seemingly appearing from behind Twilight. How did you get in? Twilight asked. It's our little secret, Pinky answered for Caboose. Twilight finished eating and left the kitchen to see what was happening. Church! Caboose yelled, running around Church. Hey, Caboose, Church said, confused. What are you guys doing here? They want to throw a pre-party party for the twins at the Sugar Cube corner, Twilight said. Okay then, Church said. I've never heard of a pre-party party. Neither have I, Caboose said with excitement. I am so excited I could just keep running. Caboose kept running in circles around Church until Church got slightly annoyed. Caboose, stop running, Church said. Okay, Caboose said, coming to a screeching halt. Jeez, you're a party pooper, Pinky said jokingly. You can poop parties? Caboose gasped. That sounds amazing. Church stuffed his hoof in Caboose's mouth and sighed. It is just going to be the 4 of us? Church asked. Of course not, silly. You're going to get the others with Caboose while me and Twilight set up, Pinky said. I don't remember volunteering for this, Church said. Caboose was kind enough to volunteer your time, Pinky said happily. Great, Church said sarcastically. Thank you, Caboose. See, I told you he would be happy, Caboose said. All right, let's just make this quick, though. Church grunted. Okay, Caboose said, galloping out the door. Twilight stared at Church, and they both shrugged. Church then followed Caboose grudgingly. It took them a couple hours to tell the others, but eventually they all made their way back to the library. You're looking better, Simmons said to Griff. I feel better, Griff said. Too bad you still look like shit. You're an asshole, you know that? Simmons said. Griff, don't disrespect others, Sarge said. That's my job. I learned it from watching you, Griff said, overdramatically. The others then started to laugh, and they then found themselves in front of the library, where the door shut open and Caboose ran inside. Hi, every pony, Pinky said happily. Are you ready to pre-party? Totally, Tucker said. It's been a while since I've been to a pre-party. You're kidding, right? Church said. Fuck no, man, Tucker said. What, you've never been to one? Church face-hooved as he shook his head. I knew you were lame, Tucker laughed. Fuck you. Sorry, I know you like dudes, but Tucker started. Tucker, how are your balls feeling right now? Church grunted, tensing his back leg. Tucker glared at Church, then decided not to say anything, as they all made their way inside the library. So, what is this party for exactly? Simmons asked, looking around. The Cakes had twins 1 year ago tomorrow, Pinky said. Sarge squinted at Caboose, who was drawing on a piece of paper. So you have babies living in the same building as Caboose? Sarge asked nervously. Well, yeah, babies can't live on their own, you silly, Pinky replied. Right, Sarge said, still watching Caboose. What are you doing, Caboose? I'm drawing a picture, Caboose said. It is hard to grab the crayons, though. That's because you don't have any fingers, Tucker said. Oh my god! They took my hands, Caboose said. Oh, never mind. I remember now. Church let out a deep sigh and glanced at the other stallions. I'm surrounded by idiots. Church thought to himself, but found himself smiling. So, Church, how are you liking it here? Rarity asked. It's all right, I guess, Church said. How has Simmons been doing? Fantastically, Rarity said happily. He is a great help around my boutique. I don't think it's been this organized in months. That's surprising, Church said. I hope you don't mind me asking, Applejack said, but, why do you guys always seem to be at each other's throats? We're not at each other's throats, Church said, but y'all are always yelling at each other, Applejack said. Some things are just hardwired, Church said, without realizing the slight irony of his statement. 'Cause he's an AI. Look, Church, I made a picture of us, Caboose yelled. Caboose ran up to Church, hiding a piece of paper in his teeth. There were two crudely drawn stick horses, one being blue and the other being light blue. Church looked at it and smiled awkwardly. Thanks, Caboose, Church said, grabbing it from him. It looks good. Thank you, Church. Hey, wait. What if my special talent is drawing? Caboose said, looking at his flank. I don't know, Caboose, Tucker said sarcastically. I think eating crayons would be more your speed. Hey, yeah, I've always wondered what they tasted like, Caboose said. Caboose then ran to one of the crayons and tossed it in his mouth and bit it before anybody could stop him. He promptly spat it out and ran to the punch bowl and grabbed a drink. He then looked at his flank and frowned. Nope, that's not it, Caboose said. They taste pretty bad. Maybe it's being an idiot, Tucker said. You seem to be pretty good at that. Maybe yours is being hit in the balls, Church said to Tucker. You seem to be pretty good at that. All right, every pony, just settle down, Twilight said. Yeah, let's get this party started, Pinky yelled, slamming her hoof on the boombox, which started playing music. Chapter 30. Warning. Church stood watching Pinky and Caboose dance awkwardly for a while, then decided he would take a breather and take a step outside, and Tucker followed. Pretty boring party, eh, Church? Tucker said. If only we could get some actual drinks here. Then it would be a party. Yeah, Church laughed. How's it going with Rainbow Dash? She still crushing your balls? Not recently, Tucker said, chuckling lightly. But it's pretty good, man. She is quick-tempered, but at least she isn't text. How is staying with Twilight? It's all right, I guess, Church sighed, while looking at the moon. Tucker stared at Church in silence for a bit. You miss her, don't you? Tucker said abruptly. Of course I do, you fucking idiot, Church muttered. Why don't you just forget her? Tucker asked. I tried. Before Caboose forced me out, I tried to let her go, Church said, then looked at the ground. But no matter what, it's not enough to in the end. I've tried loving her. I tried to forget her, but neither of those worked. Maybe you're supposed to do something else, Tucker suggested. No fucking shit. Do you have any other wonderful observations? Hey man, no need to be a dick. I'm just trying to help. Tucker, your help aren't Tucker and help aren't exactly things you expect to hear being put together on a day-to-day basis, Church retorted. Whatever, man. Quit being so fucking mopey. I don't know. I don't exactly have a lot to be happy about these days, Church muttered. I know something that might make you happy, Tucker said. Oh yeah? Church asked. And what would that be? Tucker pointed to a window, and Church looked inside to see every pony laughing. Caboose was holding hooves with Pinky with a big smile on his face. As much of a pain in the ass Caboose is, I have to say he seems to be pretty happy here, Tucker said. Probably the happiest I've seen him, and I'm kind of happy for him. You're happy for Caboose? Church asked with a laugh. I know, man. It surprised the fuck out of me, too, Tucker said. This place is just so damn happy to hate anything. And honestly, look at Caboose and tell me you don't feel happy for him. Church then looked at his hooves and glanced at the drawing, and he started to smile. You're right. I am kind of happy for him, Church said, then sighed. Hey, Tucker? Yeah? Thanks. Church and Tucker then went back into the library. So, is there anything fun to do around here besides party? Griff asked. Not that partying is a bad thing to do. Well, you could borrow one of my books if you want, Twilight said. Ugh, no thanks, I'm not an egghead, Griff said. Simmons might be interested, though. He's pretty fucking boring. Fuck you, Griff, Simmons said. Yeah, you wish, Griff said smugly, sipping on a glass of punch. So, just books. Any other than that? You could always give Cloudsdale a try, Rainbow Dash said. I'm sure the aerial sports team wouldn't mind using you for practice. Forget I said anything, Griff muttered. You don't need to do a lot of things to have fun, Fluttershy said quietly. The most fun I have is when I sit around with my animal friends and watch them play with each other. Griff looked at Fluttershy and smiled tightly. Sarge glanced at Griff and hit him on the shoulder lightly and winked. Griff shook his head and glared at Sarge, though a goofy smile was glued on his face. So, what's going to happen at the party tomorrow? Church asked. Is it going to be the same thing as this? Don't be silly, Pinky said. How would little foals have fun at an adult pony party like this? Church looked over at Twilight, who shrugged lazily. Sarge then glanced over at Caboose, who was standing idly, not listening to the conversation. Hey, Caboose, Sarge muttered. Yes, Sarge? Caboose asked. Are you going to see the little ones at the party tomorrow? Sarge asked. Of course I am. I wouldn't even miss a Pinky party, Caboose said. Uh-huh, Sarge grunted. Pinky, mind coming outside? I need to tell you something. Okay, Sarge, Pinky said, hopping out the door. Sarge close behind her, closing the door behind them. What did you want to tell me? Pinky asked. Has Caboose met the babies yet? Sarge asked quietly.
No, Pinky said, confused. When I asked him if he wanted to meet them, he started acting strange. His eyes were really scared, and there was something else.
His voice changed, right? Sarge asked nervously.
Yeah. How did you know?
Pinky asked. You don't want to know, Sarge said. All you need to know is that Caboose should not go to the party tomorrow.
Why? Or why is that, silly? Pinky asked.
It is hard to explain, but it's just his appearance that changes. But it's not just his appearance that changes, Sarge said.
What do you mean? Pinky asked.
Long story short, he goes crazy, Sarge said. And not regular Caboose crazy. Dangerous crazy.
Caboose? Dangerous? You must be confusing him for somebody else, Pinky said.
Sarge stared at Pinky, who just sat there smiling innocently. Never mind. Just forget I said anything, Sarge said. Go back in and have some punch.
Great idea, Pinky said happily, walking back into the punch bowl. What? Pinky said happily, walking back into the punch bowl.
Sarge looked through the doorway at Caboose, who was walking around and laughing. Sarge worried for what Caboose would do to the babies, so he sighed and slowly walked up to Caboose. Hey, Caboose, Sarge said quietly. I need to tell you something, but it is a secret. Want to hear it?
Sure, Caboose said.
All right, but we need to whisper. We don't want the others to hear, Sarge whispered.
Oh, that kind of secret, Caboose whispered back.
What is the secret? Pinky just told me that the party is going to be somewhere else tomorrow, so I need you to come to the farm and we'll go together, okay? Sarge said, even more quietly. Just don't tell anybody.
Okay, Sarge, Caboose whispered back, not thinking of questioning him.
And I think that'll be all that I'll be reading for today, or at least right now. Yeah. Very interesting. Sorry my voices are a little weird. I can't quite remember how to do a lot of them. Especially Caboose, because his Caboose is totally different from what it is from Red vs. Blue, so it's really hard to do. Like, I'm good at doing Caboose, but I can't do Caboose when he's doing different dialogue, because it's hard to tell what Caboose is doing sometimes. But, yeah. Like I always say, thanks for watching or listening to this. I guess I don't always say that, but you can listen to one of my other videos, or I'm confused right now. I just want to say sorry for waiting so long to put a video up. It's just that I'm lazy and I'm on a break from school, 2-week break because stuff. Because I go to an awesome school. Anyway, so yeah, I guess I'll record another video. You can listen to that one, or you can listen to one of my other videos. But also, go check out Multi Fanfic Day or Brony Fanfics. Good friends of mine do much better readings than I do, at least in my personal opinion. But yeah, you can listen to one of my other videos or the next video that I'll have up. Yada yada yada. But until then, I will see you guys later. Brony on.